Hello, howdy partners. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're gonna sit down for a quick little monthly reset. It is September 29th. It's Monday. We've got one more day in September, and I thought that for this video we would do a little bit of content planning. I'll redo my content calendar like I did in my last monthly reset. I did just film some B-roll of me cleaning up the library and reorganizing my shelves and cleaning my desk, and I want to combine my monthly wrap up in this video as well. So this is a monthly reset with a monthly wrap up. So we're resetting for the month of October, which is everyone's favorite month, mine included. And I thought like a fun way to just throw my wrap up in for September would be to include it in this video, because if you're, I consider like resetting my month, you know, to consider what I've read in the past month and what I'll be reading in the next month. So that's all I have for the intro. I think we are gonna start with setting up the new content calendar, and I will throw in some of my footage of reorganizing the library, and then we will move on to the wrap up for September. I am so excited to say that today I am partnering with Ana Luisa for this video. Ana Luisa was so kind to reach out to me and ask if I wanted to pick out a couple of pieces of their amazing, affordable, and eco-friendly jewelry, and I was like, yes, I would like that. So I just am enamored of these pieces. I chose two different sets of earrings. Let's just take a quick look. The fact that they are stackable, so I picked these paperclip dangle earrings, and then I also chose the checker print huggies, which, like, have you guys ever seen a piece of jewelry that was actually more me? The fact that they are working together, I have 3 piercings in each ear, and the noise that it makes when I shake my head is so satisfying to me and to me alone. I wore these 2 pairs of earrings to work today for the first time, and 2 different people, and mind you, I just started my new job, asked me where I got them. And I was like, let me tell you, it's Ana Luisa. And not only that, I have a link for you guys. I have much more to say about this amazing brand and these amazing high quality pieces that I received, but real quick, I want to let everyone know that if you go down to my description box and click the link, it will bring you directly to the website, and you don't want to miss out, because right now there's pieces on the website that are as low as $39. And if that's not a deal, I don't know what is. And I will also link the 2 pairs of earrings that I chose down below if you are interested in stacking these amazing pieces just like I did, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to. They're so cute. Plus, you should treat yourself. 2025 has been rough, and the point of life is to have amazing jewelry and look really cute and feel good. They're incredible high quality, the price point is unmatched, and I'm really sensitive to metals, as a lot of us are. If it's not something that is suitable for the skin, I will break out. I will get, my ears especially will get swollen, and I've been sleeping in these earrings. I have not taken them off to shower. There is no tarnishing, and there is no discomfort. I am so pumped that I have my first Ana Luisa pieces. Even from the packaging, every package that you get has this climate neutral tag on the back. They are certified, and it says right here, I'm not trash, please recycle. So the fact that I'm partnering with a brand that supports the environment and doesn't want to destroy planet Earth is so meaningful to me. Again, if you are interested, which you should be, okay, one more time for these cute little, the checker print ones, I can't. If you're interested, please go down below to the description box for this video, and you will go ahead and click the link. It takes you right to the website. Pieces as low as $39. And again, I will link these 2 particular earrings that I chose down below. Thank you, Ana Luisa, so much for partnering with me and for sponsoring this video. And thank you again for these incredible earrings. I love the sound that they make. And honestly, I don't like to wear my hair up, but the fact that I have these cute little dangly earrings, I'm like, oh, this could be a look. Maybe I could do this. Again, thank you so much, Ana Luisa, for partnering with me, and let's get back to the video. Hi friends, we're back to get on to the second part of this monthly reset, which is my monthly wrap up, because in my head, part of resetting for the next month is reflecting on the books that I read and the goals that I hit and the things that I did in the month before. So really quickly, I should have shown it on my content calendar better from the previous clip when I was redoing my content calendar for the month of October. I should have shown what goals I hit and what goals I didn't hit, but really quickly, just me telling you, I did get a job, which was, as you guys know, the most important thing that I had to do in the month of September. And that was kind of out of my control, right? Because you can apply to jobs over and over and over again, which I did, and had interviews, which I did, and a lot of things just didn't pan out. So I'm on my second week. Today's Tuesday, September 30th. We're on the last day of the month. Tomorrow's October 1st. So this is perfect timing for everything. And I can confidently say that I really like this job. It's very laid back. It is straightforward. Everyone is continuing to be kind and welcoming, and I'm just happy to be there. So in healthcare, that is not an easy thing to achieve. That was the main goal. My other goal that I did manage to hit was I did post every week in the month of September on YouTube. So thank you so much if you have been here. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the description box for the link to the Ana Luisa website, where you can pick pieces as low as $39. And one more time, I just went out and showed my husband the earrings, and I was like, are they cute? Are they cute? Do they look cute together? He said yes. So I feel very pretty today in my PJs. This white shirt, don't let it fool you. I'm wearing pajama bottoms. But yeah, so I hit 2 of my main goals. The third one was Instagram, but Instagram always just feels I really just feel like focusing more on YouTube right now, where I'm at in my personal life and my social media career, if you will. So I did post quite a bit and gained, I don't know, a few followers on Instagram. But if you want to follow me over there, it's at the Farm D Reads, same as here. Long-winded of me. Without further ado, let us go on to the monthly wrap up. So I waited until the last gosh darn second because I thought maybe I would finish another book, but that's not happening tonight. So I finished 25 books in the month of September. I don't have any stats because I have to update my story graph, but maybe next month. And I enjoyed so many of these books. So let's just get started. I like to do my wrap ups in the order that I read them, just for the sake of, I made a list while I was at work today, and it kind of helps me think about it. You may have seen me talk about this video in my book of the month last episode that I posted, which is episode 11. I'll link it on the screen here, but this is You're Invited by Amanda Jayatisa. This is a very slow burn thriller following our main character, who gets invited to her ex-best friend's wedding, and the wedding is to our main character's ex-boyfriend. Things start to unravel. It takes place on the beautiful land of Sri Lanka, which is an island off of, or the mimics are out. I didn't know I was that close enough to the Appalachian mountain range for that to happen, but I heard them. So this book is very slow burn. It is a thriller. I actually did enjoy it. Me and Danny are both like, what the fuck? Look at her. Where are you? Oh my God, I lost her. Well, she kind of gave up caring now, but this is a very slow burn thriller, but what I appreciated about it is it was a little bit domestic in some of the twists and turns that we had towards the end, but I just thought that the setting of Sri Lanka was so lush and so beautiful. The friend that's getting married is uber rich and picks this beautiful beachside resort. So the scenery, the atmosphere, it was all there. It just didn't blow my mind. A lot of domestic thrillers just kind of feel like they're always doing the same. This one wasn't quite so different, but I did appreciate learning a little bit more about a new culture. So if you do follow my book of the month series, I am not keeping this one on my shelves. I want to send it off to the next person that will enjoy it, but I did like it for what it was. The next book that I read, and I do have quite a few books that I borrowed from the library, so I don't have physical copies, but the next book I read is Esperance by Adam Oyebanji, and this is one of my sleeper hits of the year. This is a very, very, very different and unique slow burn kind of murder mystery thriller, but with a ton of sci-fi elements thrown in, and it was just so well done. This author has a couple of other books out, and I really need to get to them. So at its core, Esperance is following our main character, who is a police detective that has some terminal illness, so he's just throwing all of his focus on trying to figure out these very strange strings of murders that are happening in his area in the United States. That's just books falling, or it's a ghost. While at the same time, one of our other main characters, who may or may not be from planet Earth, is in London trying to kind of work against what the police officer is looking to accomplish. The really, really crazy weird thing about the murders is all of the victims are found drowned by salt water. A massive amount of salt water in their apartments, and it kind of just goes from there. I loved the writing, I loved the pacing, I loved that it was a murder mystery but also a sci-fi kind of thriller at the same time, and then at its core a lot of it was focused on the theme of race and racism, because a lot of our main characters are Black, and I just thought that it was so unbelievably well done, and I just want everyone to be reading this book. So if you pick one book from this video, pick that one. I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 stars, but I don't know, 4.5, 5. I have to sit on it and change my mind, and I'm definitely going to be picking up another book by this author. I think he has 1 or 2 more, but yeah, I love this one. This month I had a lot of good sci-fi reads, and this one was probably my favorite. One of my favorites. The next book that I read is Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley, and I did get this off of NetGalley as an e-arc, so thank you to the publisher and NetGalley for letting me read this one. I feel like a lot of you have read this one or heard about it, especially in the month of September when everyone is kind of getting their spooky season TBRs going. The book follows our main character Hannah, who's reeling from the loss of her fiance in a tragic accident up in the snowy mountains when her group of friends that she's kind of been estranged from take her out into the desert. I think it's the Mojave Desert, I don't know, Joshua Tree, that area, to a spiritual holistic retreat, and it gets classic 80s slasher from there, but mixed in with very like millennial wokeness, and I can say that because I am a millennial, so back off, 92, thank you. I really enjoyed this. I don't think I liked it as much as everyone else because I did think some of the terminology and the way that these characters interacted with each other was a little cringe at times, but for being a cheesy slasher, you know, like reminiscent of that type of a movie, we're thinking Scream, we're thinking Jason, this book hit. If you haven't picked it up yet, or if you're interested in kind of dipping into horror but nothing too intense, now I will say there were scenes that were gory, but I just thought overall the story was really well done. It's short, it's quick, the pacing is good. The reveal I figured out pretty early on, but nonetheless, such a unique take on a horror, and really just gives the slasher vibes that I think we like to watch around this time of year and indulge in. So if you're looking for a different way to consume that kind of content, pick this book up. Hey, Dan. Oh my gosh. Okay. Next book that I picked up is Swallow by Meg Smitherman. This is available on Kindle Unlimited, and Meg Smitherman is the queen of the novella. I don't know how this woman packs a punch in these short, tiny ass little books that she writes, but I eat them up. I think this is the second or third one that I've picked up by her. The other one that I've read is Thrum. So this is the second one, which I read at not Bring Me the Horizon. I read that one at some concert that my husband took me to that I didn't want to be at. It wasn't Bring Me the Horizon. I actually watched that one. Who was it? It'll come to me. I'm very particular about my metal music, but I read a whole book while I was there, so no complaints. And it was at Red Rocks in Denver, which if you know, is like one of the sickest venues that you could possibly go to. So I'm glad that we did it. Sidebar, back to the book. This book follows a group of space explorers that travel to a very, very distant planet. You know, they do the whole stasis thing, and they end up at this planet which has previously been explored, but the whole crew died except for one person. And our main character, her mom, is the one person that survived. So she feels this connection to the planet and she just can't let it go. So she goes, and it's pretty sexy. It's the plants and the greenery and the atmosphere of This planet, it's like Mother Earth, but if she's ovulating. Okay? And I really enjoyed it. It is very sci-fi, it's not horror because, I mean, there were some horror elements, I would say, but if you're looking for something quick and different and available on Kindle Unlimited, just trust me and pick this one up. Also Thrum, if you like sci-fi, both of these books are absolutely going to hit that. Scratch that itch. Both of these books are absolutely going to hit that for you, and they're so short. You could read both of them in like 2 days, okay? Loved it. Next one that I read, oh, I do own it. Fun. I've got a helper. Can you say hi? I love you too. Okay. The next book that I picked up in the month of September is The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. And if you have been watching my channel for a little bit, Chuck Wendig is an auto-buy author for me. I love all of his books that I have read. I've read most of them. I am missing a couple, but really, really, really was excited to get to this one. I think it came out in August, if I'm remembering correctly, and some of the special editions are just unreal. This book is following a group of friends that had a tragedy back when they were teenagers in high school, where one of their friends disappeared going up a staircase in the woods. This book is based on a creepypasta that originated on Reddit, I believe, where it's people saying like there's a staircase in the woods and where does it lead, just kind of popping up. So Chuck Wendig takes that story and runs with it in this. And the group of friends reunites years later as adults, very It vibes, to figure out what happened to their friend, and they go up another staircase in the woods, and it kind of goes from there. I didn't love this, which I'm disappointed to say because, again, I love Chuck Wendig. I love almost everything that I've read by him. This one just was not my favorite. I thought the pacing was really not there. It dragged quite a bit. It was repetitive, and I don't want to spoil anything. I just did not understand the setting. I didn't get the house. I didn't care. It was obviously very allegorical for like life and coming together and, you know, falling apart and fears and facing them and things like that. But I don't know. It just wasn't what I expect from Chuck Wendig. So again, this wasn't my favorite. If you like Chuck Wendig, I personally would go with, I love his Wanderer's Wayward duology. I feel like not enough people talk about it. It's reminiscent of Stephen King's The Stand. It's got a pandemic, but it came out before COVID, so I give it a chance. And I think it was just really well done, really great writing, some Chuck Wendig at his best. This one, not so much. I am keeping it on my shelves because I love him, but I did not love this book. The next book that I read is Blood Slaves by Marcus Redmond, and this is also another sleeper hit of the year. This is a vampire story that is following slaves in the 1800s, and it kind of starts off with the story of one of our main characters being turned in hundreds of years before, and then we kind of meet up with them again in the 1800s when they've been brought over to a plantation in the United States. And stunningly, they all get their revenge. This one was also, I think, very representative of racism and colonialism and slavery and how horrific it was and still is. And it was just very satisfying, I think, for the author, who had a forenote or whatever you call it at the beginning, kind of talking about how pissed off he's been about seeing all of these young Black people being unalived by police officers in recent years. And he felt that this book was his rage letter, his love letter to these victims, and his rage letter to the people that are responsible for these atrocities. And to turn it into a vampire story at the same time, it was so well done. I listened to it on audio, and I highly recommend. Again, one of my sleeper hits of the year. I'm going to group these next two together because they're a duology. I only own one of them, but the next ones that I want to talk about are These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends. This is by Chloe Gong, who I absolutely love from her Immortal Longings, Vilest Things, third one hasn't come out yet trilogy. But this one is her Romeo and Juliet retelling, which I do disagree with, but nonetheless. And at its core, it's following a fictitious but not really Shanghai, where we have two warring gangs, the Scarlets and the White Flowers. And of course, our two main characters, Juliet and Roma, are from the two respectively, and have fallen in love before when they were teenagers. And now that they're more adult, I think they're like 20, 21 and when we're actually following the action. No, I think they're younger, maybe 17, 18, 19. When we're following the action, oh, battery's gonna die. I got cut off somewhere. I don't know where. The reason that I feel like this isn't really quite a Romeo and Juliet retelling is, other than a couple of lines from Shakespeare's play about them and the names, this is a lot more an examination of Eastern Asian culture, of colonialism, of racism. Okay, this goes a lot deeper than just a Romeo and Juliet retelling. And I also did not love these. I did love them, but I didn't love them for the romance. I loved it for everything else. I thought the story was really interesting. I thought that the conflict between the gangs was done really well. And then the part where Roma and Juliet work together, even though they have this like low-key hatred for each other, but they didn't because they loved each other and they were 15. So good. The romance I actually thought was not well done in this at all, to be honest with you. I didn't buy it, but I bought everything else. So I really like this duology. I definitely want to get book 2 so I can keep them on the shelves. And this is, again, part of my last episode of the Book of the Month challenge. I can't link it again. YouTube doesn't let you do that, but I have a playlist with all of those videos linked if you want to go check it out. The next book that I read is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stevens, and I loved this book so much. This one is a time loop, love across the ages and time and space continuum, which is following our two main characters, Evelyn and Arden, who fall in love with each other every lifetime that they are reborn, but they also always have to kill each other before they turn 18, so they can never explore their love beyond the ripe, tender age of 18. I loved this book. The ending, I did think, was a little out of left field, but I enjoyed the writing, I enjoyed the poetry, I enjoyed the love story. It's very gender fluid. It can be queer at times. It's just, honestly, I really enjoyed it. It was one of the better romances I think that I've read this year, and it's also available on Kindle Unlimited. This author has a really good way of giving you purple prose without like shoving it down your throat like I think a lot of romanticises do, which I don't. This one is not romantasy. It's magical realism, if anything, until you get to the end, which no spoilers, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that ending was fine. I mean, it was good. It was all right. But then like the very last, the epilogue, tears. I really enjoyed this one. I didn't get to a lot of romance this month. I did have a romantasy bit at the end, as you'll see, but I really liked this one. One of my favorite romances I've read this year for sure. God Emperor of Dune. This is book 4 in the Dune series by Frank Herbert. I have 2 more books that are written by him. This is the first and like the second arc of the second trilogy, the second arc, if you will, and time jump. We're time jumped so far ahead. We are looking at Leto Atreides, but not the one that you are used to. And again, it's tough to talk about books further on in a series, especially without spoiling anything, but this is book 4. There is a huge time jump. There's an introduction of new characters, and there is, I think in this one, if you read the foreword, there is quite a bit of representation of like modern day politics, and this book was written I think in the 60s or 70s and honestly is still very relevant to our current political landscape. So really enjoyed this installment. I think I gave it 4 stars. I find the books to get better and better after the first Dune. I might be blasphemous by saying that, but I really liked this one and I'm excited to get to books 5 and 6. Oh my gosh, Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. I talked about this ad nauseum in my library themed reading vlog, which I will link that one up on the screen. It's very chatty of me. It's like 2 hours long, so you're welcome. But this book has changed my mind on cozy fantasy. So this book is following our main character. Already forgot her name. My God, I am bad with names. I remember Circus. Hannah Hala. There we go. It came to me right at the end. This book is following this by T. Kingfisher, who is one of my favorite authors. T. Kingfisher just gets fantasy, she gets magical realism, and she gets adding horror elements. This book is straight cozy fantasy. It's not horror. There are some conflicts and there are some stakes, but it's still cozy, okay? It's following our main character, Hala, who has been widowed as of like 10 years ago, and she finds out that her great uncle through marriage, after he just passed away, has left his entire estate to her, and his actual biological family is trying to lock her up in a tower and steal her estate that she just inherited. She pulls down a sword from the wall, and there is a warrior guardian that can come out of the sword when you draw it. His name is Circus, and they go on a quest. They go on this quest to this land, to a temple, to get this temple in particular is like the lawyers of the realm, because she wants to make sure that she can not only hold on to her inheritance, but she can leave it to her nieces. That's like her main focus, and obviously she's escaping the issue. Like, she got locked up in her own house, so she's escaping that, and they're on a quest, and they meet a couple of characters along the way that join them in this quest. There's the slow burn romance of it all. I mean, I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about it. I loved it so much. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It was a 5-star all up until the last 200 pages or so, where I feel it could have been a little bit shorter. The pacing got a little bit too much at the end. I felt like we were kind of getting repetitive, like the same conflict was happening over and over, just with different characters. But I absolutely loved it, and I'm very excited to pick up some more cozy fantasy in 2026. I'm kind of done with it for now because it's October, and I read dark all year round, but I'm about to get real dark. So tune in. I was on a T. Kingfisher roll this month. Next one that I picked up was A House with Good Bones, which is also by T. Kingfisher. This one was really short. It was only like 240 pages, and it's following our main character, Samantha, who goes back to her grandma's home that she grew up in. Her mom currently still lives there because her brother called her up and was like, you gotta go check on mom. Something's not right. She's acting flighty. She's acting anxious. They're worried. Does she have an anxiety disorder? Are these the early signs of dementia? They're not sure. So she goes back and she starts to figure out that her mom is not crazy. There is something going on in grandma's house, and there's a witch down the street. There's a cute handyman. The roses imagery is great. The vultures imagery is great. The pacing was really good in this one. I feel like I talk a lot about pacing because it's very important. I think it's one of the most important things, I think, to let people know. Is this book gonna slog you out halfway through? No, not this one. Very quick, very impactful in 240 pages. I actually think sometimes shorter books are better than longer books because of if they can pack a punch. That's impressive. And this book does pack a punch. I liked the ending. I liked all of the reveals. I thought it was really well done. The magic is great. The lore is great. The witchy vibes are great. Samantha is also an incredible character. She's funny. She's sassy. She is not afraid to make fun of herself. She does not give a shit, and she's confident, and I love that about her. So really enjoyed this one. Not as much as Sword Heart, but I still really liked it. Next book that I read is Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. This is her newest thriller. She just released, I think, a couple months ago. That one is either August, late August or early September. And somehow my hold at the library became available earlier than I thought it would. I again read this one for my library themed reading vlog, and we ate it. I also had the audiobook, which was really, really good. At first I didn't like the narrator, but I think she represented our main character Lottie as a 75-year-old serial killer fantastically. This book follows a 75-year-old woman named Lottie who is a serial killer. You don't need to know much else. And the crux of the book is that, or the plot is, she kind of starts falling back into her old habits because people come knocking on her door and they're always asking questions, and she's like, get the fuck out. Get out of here. She gets him out of there. And there was a little bit of a plot and a mystery to it, but honestly, just like getting to know Lottie as a character, this one is, I would say, Samantha Downing, probably her most character-driven book. And Samantha Downing is also very hit or miss for me. My favorite is still My Lovely Wife by her. I did not enjoy A Twisted Love Story, and then there was another one that I didn't like, but I did like For Your Own Good, and I really love this. So if you're gonna pick up Samantha Downing, I do recommend this one, and I also recommend My Lovely Wife. Her debut and still her best. The next one that I picked up is The Persians. This is by Sanam Malouji, and this one is a very slice of life book following 5 women of an Iranian family that have made their way over, minus one of them, to the United States in the 1970s during the Islamic Revolution. And they had all the power and money and status in Iran, and they just feel like they don't have that same energy. They don't have that same status in the United States, and many years later, they're still grappling with that. And that has trickled down to the younger generations as well. This book is only character driven. There is no plot. There's no plot. It's all character driven. And while it was very interesting to read about, you know, these fictional women that you can imagine real women maybe have gone through something like this, and just knowing, you know, conflict in the Middle East, it was very interesting to read about, but it was a little bit boring. It was a little bit slow, and I just could not click with the writing. And one of the main characters I thought was insufferable. Nothing she did redeemed herself by the end of it. She was mean to everybody, and for reasons, but really still for these reasons. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite read of the month, but if you're looking for something a little bit more slow, more slice of life, has some historical, you know, value to it, I do recommend it. Next one. We're back on our Stephen King bullshit. Carrie. I read his first ever published book, Carrie. I can't believe I haven't read Carrie before. I freaking loved it. I read it in one day. I read it in one sitting. Well, 2 sittings technically, because I was updating the vlog in between. But it follows Carrie, who is a high school girl raised by an abusive, uber religious mom, and she gets invited to the prom by a popular boy, and things happen from there. And now I thought I knew the ending of Carrie. I thought I knew the spoilers. I did not. It goes so much far beyond anything that you might know about this. If you don't know anything about Carrie, go into it blind because you're not going to be disappointed. I actually really liked this one. It was very well written, you know, comparatively to some of other Stephen King's books. This one, I think he probably was doing drugs for, but maybe not as many drugs. And the fact that he wrote from the POV of like a 16-year-old girl going through this, it's just crazy to me that he like mostly, for the most part, nailed it. But I thought the characters were great. I thought the story was great. It was really well done. It was really quick. It was pretty horrifying, actually. One of the, not scarier, but like pretty crazy Stephen King books that I've read, and he has some crazy ones. So I definitely recommend this one. There's few and far between Stephen King books that I don't recommend, and the two of them are Holly and Never Flinch, which is also a Holly Gibney, which sucks because Holly Gibney as a character, increíble. Those books sucked. Okay. Okay, so when I said that Esperance was my favorite sci-fi of the month, that was a lie. It was Of Monsters and Mainframes by Barbara Truelove. I love this book so much. I'm still thinking about it. I want a copy for my shelves because the cover is amazing. It's so good. It's following our main character, Demeter, who is the AI that controls, she's the ship. She is a spaceship. She's like, think of like a cruise ship, but it's a spaceship. She transports people across galaxies, and you start getting horror elements mixed in, like cheesy classic horror moments. We've got werewolves, we've got Frankensteins, we've got mummies, AI being sentient and like working together as a team, trying to figure out why Demeter's passengers keep ending up mass murdered. And it's so well done. The writing is great, even if like sci-fi isn't your thing. If you're interested in trying it, this one is really accessible. It kind of almost makes fun of itself by adding in these horror elements, and I think it just all worked together so freaking well. I loved this book. I cannot recommend it enough. All of the characters were so great. It's a thick book, but it read very, very quickly. So again, if you are thinking about dabbling into sci-fi, don't start with Dune. Start with something like this now, okay? Because Dune is, I don't even get it half the time. We're just going through all of my library books. The Watermark by Sam Mills. This is another time loop, actually very much reminiscent of Our Infinite Fate by Laura Steven. And this one is similar in the sense that we're kind of stuck in like a time loop situation, but the two main characters get written into stories and stories within stories. And now there's not really a ton of motivation for the main bad guy, Augustus, as to why he's doing this to our two main characters, I think it's Tom and Rachel. Got to start looking up the freaking names. Jamie and Rachel, who do know each other in real life, and then both end up being drugged and written into stories of Augustus' fate, and then from there can continue kind of book surfing is what they call it. What I liked about this was the writing. I liked the characters. I liked that we were stories within stories, and the book itself is broken up into the stories within stories. So I thought that was really fun. The problem that I had with it is there is not a lot of explanation as to why our main character or our bad guy Augustus is doing any of this. We don't know his motivations. We don't really like why are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense. And there's also not a lot of extrapolation on the actual technique, like how they're doing it. There's a tea that you drink to get into the book and a tea that you can drink to get out of the book, but other than that, they don't really explain it, and now you have to suspend your disbelief for almost any book that you read, right? But this one, you had to suspend it quite a bit. So I think I gave it 4 stars, but it's more like a 3.75. I did still really enjoy it, and the cover, it just kept calling to me, and I enjoyed it for being something different. So if you're looking for a little bit more slow burn romance in the sense that they kind of forget each other in every story, so they have to start over, and how many times can you fall in love with the same person? I think that's like a really beautiful sentiment. Again, very reminiscent of Our Infinite Fates. I guess it's feeling romantic this month. I don't know. Back to T. Kingfisher. I read another one, Thornhedge. This one is so short. It's like 110 pages. It is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but what if Sleeping Beauty was the bad guy and the good guy was a frog? Changeling. I really liked this. It was weird. It was fast paced. It was poignant. It was good. I don't know. I did my thing where I went to Goodreads and read the reviews afterwards, and I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. Why did she have to be the bad guy? But like, why not make Sleeping Beauty the bad guy? I don't give a shit. And I kind of wanted more of Toad's we get quite a bit of her history, but I wanted like more of the realm that she comes from and where she was raised. But T. Kingfisher, honestly, she just hits almost every time. So I really enjoyed this one. I think I gave it 3 stars, but like it's a very good 3 star. The next book I picked up was one of my 10 before the end that I had to replace with book 4, which I am almost done with. But A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. This was 3 in the Ember and the Ashes series. And books 1 and 2 were 5 stars. And then this one was a 3 star. The plot got a little hectic in this. We had introductions of characters and conflicts out of left field that I don't think the thread is even being remotely picked back up in book 4. I feel like book 4 is going to redeem it a little bit more than this one, but we have Elias's character going through some things and having a POV that I just did not like. I'm buddy reading this with my friend Olivia right now, and we both agree that books 1 and 2 were a lot stronger than books 3 and 4 currently, but I still love this series and I would highly recommend it. This is a Roman civilization inspired, very brutal, very war-centered, military-centered fantasy series. It's YA, but it does not read YA. It's got romance, but it's not spicy. It has a lot of great characters, 3 different POVs, Elias, Laia, and Helene, excuse me. The way that their stories and their fates are interwoven with each other, the people that they meet along the way, the people that they become along the way, the people that they fall in love with along the way. I love this series and I'm just really hoping that book 4 is better than this one, because this one, it was all over the place. The magical characters were kind of just like being thrown at you with not a lot of backstory or explanation. But again, I think book 4 might redeem it. I'm hoping. Talk to me in October, at the end of October. Back to the romantasy. Okay, Heavenly Bodies by Amari Aru. Heavenly Bodies by Amari Aru. Oh wait, I have that book. Hold up, wait a minute. I forgot I bought this because I freaking loved it so much. Heavenly Bodies. It's floppy and the cover is just stunning to me. This is a fantasy romance, a fantastic romantasy, okay? Following Alara and Lorenzo. It's following 2 main characters, Alara and Lorenzo, who are from warring kingdoms, and the whole world that we're based in, and all the kingdoms and all the gods and all the characters, it's all surrounding astrology and Greek mythology, which I absolutely loved. And these 2 kingdoms now have to come together because there's a prophecy that Alara is gonna fall in love with Star King Ariette, who is just a grand old piece of shit. And she needs to figure out how to break this prophecy. Her whole family gets unalived at a party due to him. And she escapes, everyone thinks she's dead, and she gets to Helios, which is the kingdom that Lorenzo is about to inherit. His dad is king, also a piece of shit. And things go from there. And there's a delightful slow burn romance. The imagery is great. I think the magic was really fun. The ending, the lore. I requested an ARC on NetGalley, so Random House Canada, I'm gonna hit y'all up. Please give me an ARC. I've never wanted anything more than my first physical ARC in my entire life. And book 2 would be it. I love this. I gave it 5 stars. Me giving a romantasy 5 stars, if I did that, you guys should pick this up and read it. It was really, really good. And I did listen to a lot of it on audio, which was also really, really good. My boy, Robert Langdon. I had to. My FOMO would not allow me not to pick up the new Dan Brown. This is the 6th Robert Langdon book, I believe. This is The Secret of Secrets. We are back with baby boy Robert Langdon. He is in Prague with his new girlfriend, Catherine, who is there to give a talk about her new discoveries and what our consciousness really is and how it really operates in the universe. Of course, they get embroiled in some crazy ass scheme, some insane conflict that we follow them over. And this entire 670 something page book takes place over 24 hours. So you've been warned there. I enjoyed this. I do feel that the Robert Langdon series just got weaker after the Da Vinci Code. Like nothing ever really never really hit as hard as that. And if you're gonna talk about pacing, this has the slowest fucking pacing you've ever read in your life. It is very, very slow as a thriller, but I really enjoy the explorations into technology and AI and government oversight and consciousness and what it really means, and is there life after death, and all of these like existential things that I think a lot of us probably think about pretty regularly, especially in this day and age. So do I recommend it? If you've read all the other ones, yeah. If you're a dad fiction lover like I am, yeah. But I don't know if I would buy it. It's really, really long and it was sloggy, especially the second half. Again, this takes place over one 24-hour period. So, but our characters, especially the ancillary ones, are really likable, and Dan Brown does his usual thing of where he builds and builds and builds and builds and just waits until the ass end to give you a reveal. So that's always fun. The next book that I picked up was an audiobook, and it was the first book that I finished last week on my first week of my new job. It is We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter, which is her newest release. And I love Karen Slaughter. I love Pretty Girls. I love the Will Trent series. I kind of liked this one. I don't think I loved it. I enjoyed it, but it's not my favorite one by her. Again, really long, really drawn out, and my main problem that I had with this. For the first 30% of the book, we are following our main character, Emmy, who is a detective in this small Georgia town. Dad's the sheriff. And they are trying to figure out what happened to these two 15-year-old girls that they all know that got taken. And the first 30% of the book is deeply following in real time that conflict and like trying to, that investigation. And then we time jump 12 years in the future. And it's all happening all over again with just like a couple more characters. And that threw me completely off. It felt very rinse and repeat, but within the same story. And although I love a courtroom thriller, I love a police procedural, there were a couple scenes where they literally went on for 45 fucking minutes talking it out. And if she repeated one more time, me and my dad didn't talk to anyone, so we only talked to each other. I was gonna just absolutely lose it. The couple of reveals about some characters, silly goofy. I think this is the start to a new series that she's gonna be progressing on. Will I pick them up? Yeah, probably, because I don't have anything else to do. But this was not my favorite Karen Slaughter, although the audiobook, very good. I will give you that. Okay, Romantasy. The Wolf King by Laura Palfreyman. Oh my God, I loved this. Okay, this one is following Aurora, who is a princess in the Southlands, and her dad has betrothed her off to this piece of shit lord named Sebastian, who has money and prestige and soldiers, and they need that to battle the wolf clans of the Northlands. And in the Southlands, any wolves that are captured there are pitted against each other in fighting pits, they're imprisoned, they're tortured, they're treated like garbage. One day, watching one of these fights, Aurora gets taken by an alpha named Callum, but she really leaves because she feels like she's just been imprisoned inside and outside her whole life, and she wants to be free. She wants to be free to feel like herself, to learn who she is. And Callum gives her that opportunity, and many more, if you know what I'm saying. So they go up to the Northlands, and there's conflict, there's magic, there's Omegaverse, there's all sorts of good stuff in here. I really like this. It's like a 460-ish page book, but it read fast. I loved it. It's on KU. The Night Prince's book 2. The only reason I haven't read it yet is because my friend is coming down in a couple weeks for the weekend, and we're gonna buddy read it in person, which is gonna be awesome. But the little love triangle that we might have going between Callum and the princess and Blake, I am Team Callum. I am Team Callum. If you've read this book, let me know what team you are. Yo, okay. So I listened to an entire audiobook yesterday and today. Yesterday, I listened to It's Not the End of the World. This is by Jonathan Harkes Ramage. And the synopsis says it's an apocalyptic queer thriller, which I would agree with, an apocalyptic climate change related queer thriller, which I do agree with all of it except for the climate thing. They do discuss climate change quite a bit, but it's not like the crux of why the thing that's happening is happening. But at its core, it follows our main character, Marcus. It's not Marcus. Mason. It's 2044. Mason and his partner, Yun Ho, are uber rich. They live in LA, and they are adopting a baby through a surrogate that they have contact with. And the day of the baby shower, this crazy pink smoke comes into LA, and things go from there. I really enjoyed this for the commentary that it had on queerness and sexuality and how it has been militarized and how it has been derogatized in the United States, and I can go on and on and on. And I feel like the climate thing kind of took a backseat to that, because we also got into kind of like a malicious state, and the president is a dictator that refuses to leave office. It was a bit on the nose, but I really enjoyed it. The audiobook was great. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars, but I think it's more like a 3.5 because I did not like the ending. Didn't like how that went. That was kind of weird, but overall I thought it was really enjoyable. If you're looking for sci-fi, I have a lot of recommendations in this video, and this one, yeah, I wouldn't say it's sci-fi in the sense that, can you even picture this happening? Because they're all, during the whole book, like, this isn't real, this isn't real, I just want to go back to real life. And it's like, you're in real life, my guy, like, this is happening to you. And just the kind of like, I think we've all been there where we're like, no, this couldn't possibly be real, but these real things, tragic things, horrible things happen, and they can happen to us, okay? And me, in my head, I'm always like, it will, it sure will. Okay. Okay, number 25, the last book of September. I listened to it today, and it is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, and I loved this. This is a nonfiction written by John Green, who you may know by The Fault in Our Stars, whatever else that he's written. Looking for Alaska, that's another one that I've read by him. But this is a nonfiction look at his research on tuberculosis, the history of tuberculosis, its relevance in current culture, in past culture, and most importantly, why a completely curable disease has not been eradicated. It still kills millions of people every year. I took quite a few notes, and some of them just absolutely blew my mind. It kills 1 million people a year, even though it has a cure. And something that he says quite often is the crux of the problem is the drugs are where the disease is not, and the disease is where the drugs are not. It absolutely comes down to social caste and racism and inaccess to healthcare. It was a 6-hour audiobook, and it was haunting, and parts of it made me cry, especially the relationship that he forms with one of the characters that he meets one of the real life boys that he meets at a tuberculosis hospital in Sierra Leone. So I need to make a video of my favorite non-self-help nonfictions, and this one is definitely going on it. Even if you don't care about science or whatever, you would like this book. Okay. Tired of talking. Thank you so much for watching my channel, for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments what you're most looking forward to in the month of October. And I know it's Halloween, but like, tell me something else. Or you can tell me Halloween, I don't care. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to give it a like so I can get out to more people and chit chat about more books. Subscribe to my channel if you're not. And please, if you do one thing, don't forget, if you want a cute little stack of earrings like favorite gal here on the internet, check my description box down below, click the link PharmD Reads. It's going to take you right to Ana Luisa's website, where you can pick pieces starting as low as $39. They're high quality, they're hypoallergenic, they're climate certified. We're eco-friendly here, okay? Love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Happy reading. Okay, bye.